What's your number? I'm glad I came. Can I take my order? Welcome back, everyone, to the JSR Championship as we head into round two of the season and one of the most tricky circuits on the calendar, the Shanghai International Circuit, home of the Chinese Grand Prix. And after a breathtaking opening round in Brazil, the championship has a story to tell. Sao Paulo delivered chaos, comebacks, heartbreaks, and a very clear statement of intent indeed. Ryan Benink stole the headlines in Brazil with a sensational drive to victory, charged to the field to take maximum points and announce himself as a serious contender this season. A flawless performance under pressure, and behind him, JSR Rubber impressed with a superb second place for Ferrari, whilst Amos Eric completes the podium after climbing 5 places. A strong bounce back drive that keeps him firmly within the hunt. But Brazil was brutal. Big names like Kevin Zumberg failed to finish. Milan Langer, the reigning force in recent rounds, and also retiring to scoring points in the opener. After just one race, the championship looks like this as well, and we'll going in towards the Chinese Grand Prix. So 18 minutes of qualifying around at this circuit, and the 5.4 kilometre test of balance of bravery begins with the famous tightening right-hander turn 1 and turn 2, the corner that seems to go on forever and ever as well before we head down towards turn 2 and turn 3. This can be a very difficult, demanding circuit, and it puts the drivers to the absolute test and limit as well to see how they manage around here around this 5.4 kilometre circuit. All 20 drivers are here, which is a good sight to see, and we'll see if anything happens coming in towards this qualifying session and the race as well. So the race winner from last week was Ryan Benink, like I said. Robert finished in P2 ahead of Eric. Misha P4 in the Red Bull, in the Mercedes ahead of Fireplace. Hatzikas in P6. I don't think Hatzikas is here tonight. Mum and Nick P7 ahead of Leonard, and Sasha P9 ahead of Miles Mackis, who rounds off the top 10. Ralph in P11 ahead on Olive in P12. Leon P13 ahead of Torpe. The DNS with Kevin Zunderberg, AMS Eastbrand, Mark Yensi, and Milan Langer. Those were the DNS. And Milan Langer, the championship from season 10, unfortunately DNFing in the first round of the season. And he did win the first round of the season in Australia, last season too, if memory serves correctly as well. And it hasn't really been good. Well, I think it was the season before, but it hasn't really been a good season from last season for Milan Langer after the DNS and bad luck as well. But we'll see if he could turn that around on the table. So the Kickstarter is currently out there so far. It is Olai in P16, and he's about to set sail. Our first flying lap around here in Shanghai. We'll see what he can perform as he heads around the final corner we go. We've seen many people crash there in the past with the DRS wide open now. Let's see how he does. He takes a very it takes a very weird line going through the main straight. Coming through a turn 1 we go then. It's all about the engine braking. Let the engine do the braking there. Just gradually getting slower and slower. Going through turn 1 and turn 2. Now through 3 and 4. It's all about the throttle and trying to make sure you minimise wheel spin, making sure you don't lock up the rears or spin the rears up, as we head through turn 5 and turn 6. Braking on the 100 metre board. Down to the gears we go once again. Very important to hit the apex and get back to the throttle as soon as you can, as we now full throttle out of turn 6. Now headed through the fast bends of turn 7 and turn 8 we go. Let's see how it does there. No signs of lifting up, but lift off in this one because this corner just gradually gets slower, and so it's so easy to mess up the rhythm and the momentum through here as well. So you got to be very aware as we now head to the double left-hander, turn on and turn 10 we go. Coming towards these slow speed corners again. Very tricky on the apex and the exit too. You've got to be very modular in terms of throttle, just being very cautious indeed, and don't overdo it, don't overstep it, don't get trigger happy on the throttle, otherwise you end up spinning the rear tyres out and burning them early in the qualifying session. DRS enabled then down this long back straight. I think it's over Compton Straight. Hello Ben Joke, nice to see you in the chat. Former 7-time champion here in JSR is in the chat. He has retired just like Michael Schumacher. But now here comes Olai out of turn 14, coming towards the final corner. This looks like a decent perfect lap. I say perfect, it's far from perfect because there's no such thing as a perfect lap, but the time is a 1:31.850, and that is the time everybody has to beat. Sebastian coming around the final corner in the Alpine, Now let's see what he does, and it's quite far away from the Kick Sauber driver, so quite a long way away, and it's a 33.0, but hopefully he can improve. JSR Ryan is out there so far, headed down towards turn 40, literally clobbers the curve there, and a few corrections on the steering wheel. We can see him squirming away with the car as he heads around the final corner. Let's see what the Racing Bull driver, last week's race winner, can do. He goes up into P2 with a 32.085, and that's good enough there, 2 tenths shy of Ole's lap time. Mark has invalidated already. Nova X-Rag goes P4, but replaced by Fireblaze, who goes P3 in the Red Bull there with a 32.2. Mumma Nick goes P4, but obviously 6 tenths away, as Lucas goes up into P2 in the Mercedes, the second driver to be in the 31.9s. They're just ahead of Ryan for good measure. So people are starting to get closer towards Ole's lap time now. Let's see if anyone can beat it. P1R Dark is in the Alpine, exited turn 6 there. He has just got purple in the first sector. It's nice to see a full grid as well. 20 drivers out there on the track and all trying to go for provisional pole position. But I'm going to see a lot of mistakes being made. I say that somebody has left the session, which is Andy, unfortunately. So he is out of the session. But on board then with the Alpine as he progresses down in towards now turn 11 we go, and the long dreaded right-hander. This right-hander seems to go on for ages as well. It's just so difficult to just keep it nice and steady on the traction as well, nice and steady on the throttle, because if you get on the throttle too early, it means you end up spinning out and lose the rear. And that's a very important corner too, because it leads all the way down towards the straight, so you really can't afford to make any errors. And the Mercedes has crashed, has he? Well, he is out of the session at least, and that's down the back straight. There's somebody behind us, by the way. Is that a Red Bull who's behind us? It is, as we now head towards the final corner. So he heads back in the pit lane. Not quite sure who that was. It can't be Fireblaze, because we just saw Fireblaze. Well, it could be Fireblaze in fact, but let's see who it was at the time. It was the Racing Bull, actually. I got confused between the Racing Bull and the Red Bull, so that's a bit confusing there. Miles Mackis in P6 for Red Bull. What's going on there? Contact has been made, and that is Miles Mackis getting a 5-place grid penalty with Mark. Come on, guys. We are much better than this. And unfortunately, there's been a bit of controversy already in this qualifying session, and one of them has got a 5-place grid penalty for unsportsmanlike behaviour. So we're already starting to see some people losing their heads already in this qualifying session, and I think maturity has gone a little bit too, unfortunately, for those two drivers there, as Stefan goes up into P8 in the Ferrari, just 3 tenths shy of his teammate Alex there in P7. He's also one of those quick drivers as well, Stefan, and also Sasha. Stefan, of course, a race winner back last season. I haven't really gone over the times from last season too, because it's my second race of the season in China, so I need to do a lot more research. But Kit goes a bit deeper towards turn 14 there. Let's see how he does around the final corner. Let's see, can he try and get himself up there in the 31s? He crosses the line right now. He can. It's a 31.6 for Kick in first place, and that is a mighty lap time indeed there from the McLaren driver, putting on and showing some great pace indeed. What about both Hasses? What can they do? Uncle Palmer, unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, I'm not quite sure if he's on lap time or not. I think he is, yeah. Here he is down the back straight. For 1 second I thought he backed off, but still going full throttle is the Haas. His teammate is behind him on the track, Milan Langer, as we now head towards the final corner we go. It looks like the Racing Bull has spun, and he has gone for a spin. Here comes Uncle Palmer now towards the line, and it's only P12 for the Haas driver with a 33.6. Miles Mackis has been disqualified. Oh, Milan Langer there has been caught out, and he's crashed in the pit lane entry. Wow, he's about to start his flying lap, and it has been ruined by the silliness and recklessness from Miles Mackis. Not quite sure what the Red Bull driver was doing, but it's affected Milan Langer massively. And plus, it was about to go for his first flying lap time, and that set of soft compound tyres has been absolutely ruined for no reason whatsoever due to the, well, stupidity. I don't want to, yeah, it's a bit harsh to say stupidity, but recklessness, shall I say, and misdemeanor there from Miles Mackis. But on board now with Ole in the Kick Sauber. Audi has just had their livery uncovered and revealed, and it doesn't look spectacular in my opinion. It just looks, it looks like somebody's just created it by my team, or something like that. It's looking like a random person just designed the car and it doesn't really look spectacular. But on board with the Kick Sauber this year, or last year's car, and look at that, mighty improvement. It's already almost a 10 and 3/4 up in the first sector as he powers his way out of turn 6 now, heading towards the fast left-hander and right-hander we go, full throttle in this corner, but this one here, you got to prepare, taking a wider line through here, carry as much speed as you can. Very important as well not to go too wide as we head through turn 9 and turn 10. This the double left-hander doesn't really hook up the apex in towards 9, but cleanly through 10 as we head towards 11 we go. This is a clumsy little corner through here as well, which can catch many people out too for good measure. Now we're headed down towards the downhill right-hander we go with the ERS deployed, with the battery deployed as well. Full power all the way down towards this back straight. This lap looks promising. A few mistakes here and there for Olai in the Kick Sauber, but is this lap time good enough to put him on pole position? Somebody is calling me. I'm not quite sure who that is. But as we now head down towards turn 14 we go. Massive wheel spin there for the Kick Sauber, and unfortunately all that good work is ruined, and it can catch you in an instant. Simple mistakes like that can ruin your lap time, unfortunately for Olai P2, and unfortunately for him as well, he had no recovery because he couldn't save the battery. The tyres were too hot at that stage, and there was no point going for another lap time, unfortunately, there for the Kick Sauber driver, who had to go in the pit lane immediately and put on a brand new set of the Soccer powered tyres. I'm on board with Ryan, last week's race winner in the Racing Bull. Let's see how he does in this middle sector. A 10th and 3/4 up, but the back of the car looking very loose indeed, but still hooks it up in the slow part of the track. Now coming downhill towards this bend, it looks like his teammate in the Racing Bull is giving him a lovely slipstream indeed, and that's going to be very beneficial down this back straight too. Speeds about 340 km an hour, then immediately has to pull away, braking hard in towards this 100-meter corner here. You can see the back of the car just sliding too for good measure. The tyres must be very hot at this stage. There's a car in front of us, but hopefully it doesn't hit him too much. Oh, look at that. Turned it too early, but gets away with it. Here comes Ryan towards the line, and this lap time is good enough for 1:31.530. That is a provisional pole for Ryan in P1. His good momentum, his good form has transpired and carried over to the Chinese Grand Prix as Fireblaze goes P4 in the Red Bull. Here comes Lucas now around the final corner. Let's see how he does on his second lap time. And Lucas goes pole by 0.08 of a second. What a lap time indeed from the Mercedes driver. Hang on a second, I need to respond as Miles Mackes has left the session. Just give me a few seconds, there's a situation going on with my phone. There we go. So apologies about that. I don't usually go on my phone, by the way. Well, I do to check all the facts and statistics and the chat map, but I don't really use it to call or text anybody. But I had an important message come through. But Sasha down in the middle sector by 0.03 of a second. It looks like the clouds are starting to gather in. It looks like it's a bit gloomy and dark out there too for good measure. I don't think we're going to see any rain. But look at this. The slipstream is trying to be orchestrated. But as you can see there, the Racing Bull. What's this? The Williams getting in the way. What is going on? Is this a double slipstream? I really hope the Williams gets out of the way right now, because that's going to be a major spectacular crash if it doesn't. But yeah, it does. I don't know who that was, but I thought for 1 second he might be in a bit of trouble there. But luckily the Williams just got out of the way there. Here comes just Hood towards the final corner. Sasha then rounds the final corner in the Racing Bull. A 31.493. And Sasha is on a provisional pole ahead of Lucas. This is some good orchestrated slipstreams going on here in this qualifying session. And everybody started to set some decent flying laps around here in Shanghai. Here comes Kick now, round in the final corner. You can see him taking a wide line through there too. Kick goes back on pole by 0.07 of a second. Just the merest of margin separating first and second place. Can you believe it? These guys are getting so close. I don't believe Kick had a slipstream either on that back straight, because his teammate is in the middle sector. So that lap alone was mighty to put him in first place. Let's see what Olai can do. Mummy Nick has left the session too. But Olai coming towards the end of the first sector and down by a few hundreds of a second too. Milan Langer is up into P7 and JSR Robbie's joined, but unfortunately, Robert, Unfortunately, you don't have a seat, my friend. So it looks like all 20 drivers are here, and you are late to the session, so you won't be able to race, unfortunately. So you have to sit on the sidelines for this one, Robert. Here comes Ola headed down towards turn number 12, I think 13 it is. Down the smash, there we go. DRS wide open for the kick Saber driver. Currently side P5 made a big mistake, headed down in towards the hairpin. Hopefully not the same fate for him as he brakes hard down to the gears we go, flicks the car in. You can see him clamping the curb there too, but this time suffers no wheel spin as we now head towards the final corner. Back in the pit lane. I don't think he's satisfied with our lap time, and he's spun the car too. Wow, he doesn't seem happy, does he? And his 2 lap times has been ruined, unfortunately. Here comes the McLaren in the pit lane. I think it's Kick. It is Kick who goes in the pit lane. But we've got the quiet before the storm. There is 3 minutes left to go in this qualifying session, and so far it is Kick on pole position ahead of Sasha with Lucas in P3. Our usual suspects are up there in first, second, and third place. It would have been great for Robert to join the race and to join and start the race because he is very quick. But yeah, Alex in P9, both Ferraris on the tail end of the top 10 in P9 and P10. And we are doing a lobby restart after qualifying for your notice. Oh, thank you, Milan. I appreciate that, mate. So we do have a lobby restart for probably some internet connection problems or that fireplace grid penalty. So that's probably why we do have that lobby restart. Mark, however, down to P18 hasn't set a lap time either, so it looks like he's struggling out there in the Williams, and both Williams haven't set a lap time either, so it looks like Andy and Mark struggling around here at this 5.4 kilometer circuit. It is very difficult indeed. I myself don't particularly enjoy this track. It can be very difficult indeed with the heavy braking zone, the high speed corners, traction zones as well, and that long loop in turn 1 corner 2, which can catch a lot of people out because you have to go out wide there to go through turn 2 and turn 3 and turn 4. With 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go on the clock, what's he done? Bassi spun through turn 12 there, that banked downhill corner, and that's on his lap 2 for good measure. On board now with Alex as he's down in the first sector by a few hundredths of a second, but can be easily rectified in the middle. No, it can't be. It can't be, unfortunately, as Alex has made a big mistake out of turn 6, massive wheel spin, the car spun around, and that, I think, his qualifying is done and dusted. I'm not quite sure how much time is left on the session, shall I say, but somebody in the second corner spun. I think it's Rio Palmer who has gone for a spin down there, and he's retired from the session. And so, on board with Bassi, shall I go on board with? Let's go on board with the Alpine as we head down in towards turn 1. This long right-hander we go through. Now, in the race, we usually see people hook the inside in towards turn 1, and if you could do that, just hook the inside line whilst other people drift out wide, you can gain a few places, but it's just very easy to make a mistake through there. As he's turned up in the first sector, as we head down towards turn 6, can he keep it nice and tidy? Look at that, the car just retaliating as he now gets back on the throttle we go. Coming through turn 7 and turn 8 we go now. He may have lost a bit of time going through turn 6 there, just constantly fighting with the rear end, not complying at all. He goes a bit wide through here as well, so not really a hooked up middle sector, definitely not anymore. And his whole lap has been ruined, unfortunately. All that hard work has been thrown down the drain. But I want to go on board with our main competitors to see what they're doing in terms of Sasha, who's coming through turn 3 and turn 4, Kick, who's coming through turn 3 and turn 4 right now. So let's see who's closest towards the line. It is Ryan then. Let's see if he's up or down. He is up in the middle sector by a tenth of a second, but goes a little bit deep in there, a little bit hot, and he might have cost himself a little bit of time, as every single driver in this qualifying session is looking to try and exceed the limit, find the limits, push the boundaries of their car, but maybe overstepping it just a little bit too. Ryan's got the DRS open now, but he did have a slipstream on the last lap. He had which was a big improvement indeed. As he now heads down towards turn 14, we go, slows the car down, gets the car hooked to the rotator, back to the throttle, massive wheel spin. Let's see where the Racing Bull driver can go as he makes his way now towards the final corner. DRS open. Can Ryan improve? The answer is yes. It is. It's a 31.3 for the Racing Bull driver. He has improved, but Kick elsewhere is on a fantastic flying lap. He's 2/10 up in the middle sector. Sasha, his rival, is just in front of him. We've got so many drivers making their way towards the line right now. Lucas is back in the pit lane. Here comes Sasha towards the final corner, a bit hesitant there too, with the DRS wide open. Where can Sasha go? He goes or stays in P3. Here comes Kick towards the line. Is Kick on pole? The answer is yes. Kick is on pole position for the second race of the season with a 31.319. And those lap times are super, super close indeed. 5 margins between every single driver, and Kick delivers and puts it on pole position. Now, we do know his kryptonite, which is his internet, and I really hope nothing happens. There's some big margins too in the midfield. We don't really see big margins in qualifying, but given the difficulty of this track, I'm not surprised. So Kickers on pole ahead of Ryan, just hooded P3 ahead of Lucas. Ola, great qualifying for him despite messed up twice. Fireblaze P6 ahead of Milan Langer. Bassi P ahead of Mark. Alex P10 ahead of Mum and Nick. Stefan, Flower Potato, Tope, Funka Palmer, PR1 Dark, Nova Dark Hearts, and Andy and Mels Makis, who disqualified himself in qualifying. This is a lobby restart, so don't be surprised by any crashes or foolishness in this lobby. So every single driver should retire right now so we can get towards the race and see what happens at the Chinese Grand Prix. Meanwhile, I'll take a short break and be back with you very shortly. Finally, after a lengthy delay, we can finally get racing here in JSR for round 2 at the Chinese Grand Prix. The first race we had in China was back in 2004, and it's been on the calendar ever since, and still is. It's missed a few years due to the obvious COVID reasons. 2020 till 2020. What was it back on the calendar? I can't exactly remember. I think it was 2023. Something like that. I actually can't remember, to be honest with you, but never mind about that, because the light's about to go away on the gantry and it's time for racing here in JSR. And we get underway here at the Chinese Grand Prix. There's contact, McLaren's contact, he loses control, and the racing ball goes through as we head down in towards turn one we go. The McLaren's all the way down the field. That's Kick, who made contact with the racing ball as we now head down towards 1 and 2 we go. Down in towards 3, there's a few cars ghosted there, but it's a racing ball 1-2. Ryan's in first place ahead of Sasha in P2. Kick is back up into P3, despite dropping down loads of places too. He got tagged, and here comes the Sauber down the inside of 5 lanes with 3 abreast in the background. I can't see anything. Come on. I can't see anything due to that graphic there, but the Kick Sauber in the background. Almum and Nick has been spun around as Milan Langer is fights now when the Kick Sauber goes around the outside in towards turn 7. Going through turn 8 we go. Milan Langer is up into P5 ahead of the Kick Sauber. What a dramatic start already in this race, with the McLaren gets almost spun around at the first start of the Grand Prix, but got back in composure, got back into rhythm, and got racing once again. And here comes the Ferrari down the inside too. That's a very optimistic move. Mark versus Alex, and the other Ferrari, JSR Robber, who takes advantage of his teammate. Now side by side with Mark we go, down into towards turn 13. Wheel to wheel, these two are now on the back straight we go. It's all about the battery, the straight line speed, the downforce of the cars to see who gets ahead. As we now head onto the back straight we go, in towards turn 14. Anybody looking for a move down the inside? All the Williams moving and the braking there as Robert's trying to go down the inside. He squeezes Mark outside the track there, and Robert goes through up into P9 in the Ferrari. But there's a massive train behind us as well. From P13 downwards, there's a massive split as a few cars go off in the background there too, in the dirt here of each other as we head down in towards turn one we go. DRS has now been enabled in this race, and the Mercedes has crashed, and of course a safety car comes out. I'm not quite sure how that's happened, but unfortunately he is out of the race and he's gone. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but I'm pretty sure it was something not clever indeed. Aston Martin has fully lost his wing, but luckily it's a VSC, not a safety car, so the race has been neutralised for a few minutes at least. But Lucas is on the hardcore power tyres there, along with Olai P6. Milan Langer got ahead in the Haas as Nova has left the session and is out of the race. Becomes our first retirement in this race after a dramatic first opening lap in the Grand Prix. Everybody getting their elbows out, but it's a racing ball 1-2. I have no idea what happened to Kick at the start of the race. Was it lag? The Kick just fell to go off the line, but one of the racing balls hit the back of him, and I think it was Sasha in P2, because Ryan was obviously alongside him on the front row of the grid, so I think Sasha hit the back of him. But it's looking good so far for racing, running first and second place, with Kick in P3 and Lucas in the Mercedes in fourth place. And the VSC has come to an end then. We can get racing once again here at JSR after a short neutralisation in this race, and already some people are lined up in a move as we head down towards this long back straight we go, with the DRS wide open. Any moves down here in towards the blinkers zone we go. Nobody looking for a move just yet. They all remain in single file, but in the background the racing ball goes slightly wide but stays in the lead of the Grand Prix. There's contact between 3 of them there, which is Mark, Rubber and Stefan, all coming to blows in towards turn 14. But looks like one of them has got damage. I did see an end plate fall off the car, somebody, and it could have been JSR Rubber who suffered the consequences and unfortunately has broke his wing. Let's see if it is the case. No, it's not. I thought I saw somebody break their wing going down towards turn 40, but up the inside comes Mark in towards turn 1, turn 2, taking advantage of Robert going wide. He's suffering a lot of understeer here as we now head through 3 or 4 we go. Robert just stays ahead for the time being, but he's under imminent pressure from the Williams right behind as we go down in towards turn 6. This is another place where we see some overtaking happening in the Grand Prix as well. We see plenty of occasions where somebody can go down the inside if they can surprise their rivals, get a good exit at turn 4. But as it stands, it's Ryan who leads ahead of Sasha in P2. Kick is in P3 with Lucas, his teammates in SDN in 4th place. We've got Uncle Palmer and Batty there scrapping away for 13, 14 and 15. What's going on between those guys there? Getting too close for comfort, and of course contact has been made. All of these guys getting a bit too close as well. Potato making contact to the back of the Alpine there of Batty in 14th place. Those guys have been left behind now and in the dust. Miles Mackis is on the back of that DRS train. So 11 cars in that DRS train with Miles Mackis in the background there. We've got a kick-start up the inside too. That's Mummy Nick, who's spun at turn 6. It's up into P16, but both Racing Bulls are about to swap places as both exchange first and second place we go. Sasha is now up to first place, leading the Grand Prix for the first time in this race. There's a long way to go, of course. I think the best outcome for these guys is now for the Racing Bull drivers. They've got track position, they've got control of the race. What they can do is play the long-term game and just trade DRS, try and swap places every single time, try and keep the field behind it. But for how much longer? Because Kick is right at the back of Ryan as we head down in towards turn 1. I haven't really seen Kick and Ryan go head-to-head at all in any league I've seen them in. So it's the first time I've seen them battling, and we know Kick and Ryan, they're both quick drivers, and I know Ryan has been a lot of mistakes in the past, but it looks like those mistakes have been put to bed, and he looks like he's on form so far this season for winning the Brazilian Grand Prix from 6th place to now up into P2 behind his teammate. But as long as he can follow his teammate and try and use the DRS off him to keep behind, it should be beneficial for him as Kick might be stuck in that DRS chain in P3. Lucas is looking pretty solid in P4 there too on the hard compound tyres, going for that longer stint of course, trying to go longer than the medium runners, then switch over to the medium compound tyres later in the race, and we'll see how his strategy pays off in the last stint of the Grand Prix. But so far it's the Racing Bulls who controlled this lead ever since they took the lead of Kick in the first corner. What can Kick do? Can he fight back? Can he respond now in third place? He's got to let that mistake go. Yes, he was on pole position, but there's still 24 laps in this race to make it all up and decide and come back through the field to see if he could try and do so. But the difficult part is he's got the two Racing Bulls right in front of him and looking very, very quick so far, and he's stuck in that DRS train. As we head down towards turn 14 we go. There's no options there for Kick to go down the inside. He's just waiting for that one single slip-up, one small mistake, because mistakes are quite common around the circuit. It's easy to do so. The tyre wear is high, it's punishing, and of course the tyre degradation as well, and the dirty air can be very effective. So a lot of drivers will struggle, especially in the high-speed, mid-speed corners with the understeering counted there. Look at this. There's no way that both Racing Bulls are thinking about scrapping right now. It'd be very unwise and uncanny to fight at this stage of the race. You don't really want to be scrapping too much. Those two are in good shape and form, first and second place. Yes, they've got track position, but there's no need to squabble in unnecessary places, especially now. If it was the last lap, then sure, but at this stage all you want to do is manage and control the pace. Don't push too much out the tyres, don't overdrive them, don't wear them out, and keep them in good nick for the rest of the race, because it's a one-stop strategy and you don't want to be on the two-stop as well. So you don't want to be pushing too hard on those medium compound tyres, because the tyre wear can be so high and so brutal around this circuit. So it's best off if you just stay there in P2 and fight out later. Don't need to fight right now. You're in a really good position. Don't want to throw it away for a Racing Bull 1-2. Sasha and Ryan are very good drivers indeed on their day, and is so far controlling, having a good start to the season so far in JSR. But Kick there in P3, we knows the Hunter in pursuit of the two Racing Bulls, and he is super quick. The only thing that lets Kick down is internet. That's the only kryptonite he has, I dare say. Massive lockup going down towards turn 14 for Ryan, double locks his brakes, and Kick, on the other hand, almost went into the back of him as we head down towards the final corner. So 11 drivers stuck in this DRS train. Nobody's moving backwards or forwards. It's a stalemate race. So it's a stalemate race so far in first and second place. What should I say? For the top 11, what's this? Down the inside goes Ryan. I'm not quite sure if that was orchestrated or not, but Ryan goes for a move up the inside, and Sasha, however, goes off the track. Mummy Nick has retired in the pit lane, so he is out of this race. I think Bassi and Patata goes and swap places. Kick there, looking for a move down the inside, but I don't think Sasha is going to be fazed by that one. But he does get a terrible exit, does the Racing Bull driver, so maybe struggling there. Look at Kick, there's no way he's going to go around the outside there. That would have been so brave and so optimistic if Kick made that move, but it's high risk versus high reward for Kick in P3. trying to risk it all. He wants to get in between both those Racing Bull drivers. He knows that one of them is at least an obstacle in the way. It looks like Kick is more confident on pace. He definitely seems like he's got a better balance and flow in that car. It's just a matter of time, because look at that massive slide through there as Kick is right behind the Racing Bull and Sasha. Ryan seems to be pulling away. Sasha seems to be struggling. Kick is on the prowl. He's on the hunt now for P2. Can he get this move done? Can he separate both Racing Bulls? The DRS is wide open for the McLaren driver. We're heading down in towards turn 14, but nothing doing. Can't dive bomb from there. He's too far back to do so and has to stay behind for another day. Or should I say another lap? Milan Langer goes wide in towards turn 14 we go. But he manages to stay in P5. He's got Olai on the back of him so far. This is looking good for those hardcore power tyre runners in P4, P6 and P10. Looking very good so far. So they've been doing a good job managing the pace inside the top 10, not losing too much and just sticking on the back of this train. The advantage for them, the pendulum will swing their way later on once the medium power tyres start fading away, and therefore the hardcore power tyres can be, well, faster than the medium runner, shall I say. It's lap 7 out of 28, so not too long to go before we see the medium compound tyre start to degrade. And we can see Lucas there as well in P4, just climbing all over that diffuser of the McLaren driver too. He's on the hard compound tyres. The highest hard runner in P4 is Lucas van Bos, followed by Milan Langer and Ola in P6. 5 lanes P7 ahead of Stefan. JSR Robert in P9. Miles Makis did get past Mark, who goes up into P10, does the Red Bull driver. Remember, Miles Makis and Mark made contact in qualifying, which caused that 5-place grid penalty. But look at Ryan. He started to pull away and break the train, but I dare say he made a big mistake because he lost 3/10 alone. But look at that. Sasha is really struggling, wrestling with the car. His tyre is surely now on the edge. And now the DRS has been enabled, but Sasha is barely staying close towards Ryan. Ryan seemingly has better pace than his teammate. Here comes Lucas. Lucas looking for a move on his teammate. Remember, they're not teammates here in JSR. They are teammates in SDN. They've got a really good relationship between those two. Miles Makis now gets ahead of Robert. Is that move successful? And the answer is yes. He goes now up into P9. Does Miles Makis? He does momentarily drop outside the DRS range, but he's on the hardcore power tyres there, which give him the extra grip through the slow speed corners to allow himself to get back in that DRS range and stay within that fight, which is very important too. On the other hand, Lucas in P4 looking to now attack the guys on the medium power tyres. You can sense those mediums are starting to fall away. We can see a lot of drivers here struggling for rear traction too, as the rear end of the car looking very unstable. Those medium compound tyres looking very, very aggressive indeed and angry on those tyres. But so far it is still the two Racing Bulls who lead this race with Kick in P3 and Lucas fourth ahead of Milan Langer, who has been pretty much stuck in P5. Same with Olai, same with Fireblaze, Stefan. They're all sharing the same fate. They're all struggling and being a victim of this DRS train. It's so difficult to just overtake anybody, especially when you're in the middle of the DRS train. There is nothing you could do. As we see there, the Haas of Milan Langer almost dropped it where his favourite driver of Valtteri Bottas dropped it back in 2017 under the safety car, may I add. But we're exiting the final couple of corners we go. Williams has dropped down the order. Who is that? Is that Mark who has gone down the order? And it is Mark, unfortunately. He's dropped down like a stone and become a cropper somewhere. But here comes Lucas on the back of Kick as we head down towards 14. We go side by side almost. Lucas looks to try and get alongside him, but he can't do it yet in the breaker zone. When he get the switchback, when he get the under and over, he can't. Sustains massive wheel spin in the heavy breaker zone and can't get past the McLaren driver. Oh, he goes off the track too for good measure. Pushing absolutely hard at this stage in the race. And another dose of DRS. Here comes Lucas around the outside of Kick, going down in towards turn 1, but Kick's a bit late to the brakes there. Look at that, Kick has spun the car and Lucas goes up into P3. I think Kick hit the inside curve and lost the balance of the car, which forced him to spin and go down into P6. But luckily he's still in that DRS train, but his tyres will be screaming, rampaging hot on that McLaren due to that mistake, and the wear won't be good whatsoever on that McLaren either. So Kick unfortunately has lost a whole lot of places and fallen down into P6. He was unable to clear both Racing Bulls, or at least one of them, to stay with that DRS range, but he's still there in P6. Options are still on the table, but unfortunately we know how difficult it is to overtake in that DRS train. which might become unlikely indeed for the McLaren driver. His hopes of getting a win or a podium now slipping away from the McLaren driver, who seems to be struggling on those mid-compound tyres. He's got 5 blades. Here's rather right behind him. Looks like somebody's crashed. Yes, they have in the pit lane entry. Nova Dark Horse has crashed at the pit lane entry, and those people on the hard compound tyres will be absolutely fuming. It's too early to pit, but they've got to, because the tyre advantage is so critical in any race. They can't afford to stay out there because they'll drop like a stone, so they've got to pit and commit it on the midi compound tyres. Those people are on the hard, so that is rotten bad luck, and that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes in league racing. You can't control your fate at all. You can't control when a safety car comes out, and unfortunately has fell victim. Lucas, Olai, Miles Marcus, Alex, Torpe, Batty, PR1 Dog, unfortunately all fallen victim. What's gone off there? Lucas has stayed out. Well, that is a bit of a mad strategy indeed. I don't think this strategy is going to work, because he's going to drop like a stone. There is no way, especially with the 8-lap difference of tyres, new hard compound tyres versus old. He might fall away like a stone. Miles Marcus too. So they might sustain. This is going to be a hard period, I dare say, for them. It's going to be a rough period, and a safety car has caused that, unfortunately. So Milan Langer is up into P4. Of course, Sasha had to double stack, so he drops into P6. Olai is on the medium compound tyres. I think he had to do it because he started on the hard compound tyres, which he did. So he's committed to force onto those medium compound tyres right now. He should be quick at this stage of the race, but of course, how big is the drop-off towards the end? How damaging is it going to be for the Kickstarter driver, and will he have to be forced into a second stop? That is the question. We've had a VSC, we've had a safety car in this race. It's time to come to a stop and a standstill. It's a proper neutralisation now with a safety car, so everybody is at reduced speed behind the safety car, and we'll see what will happen. What is going to happen in this race is going to be definitely interesting indeed. I think I need to review what happened down on lap 1, because all sorts of shenanigans happened down there, didn't they? And let's review it. So looking at the start of the race, it looks like Kid gets away slowly, then Ryan or Sasha hits the back of him, Kicks out of control. Kick fell down, by the way, to 8th place, and somehow still up to 3rd place at the end of the first lap. That's because he was a ghost, so he was able to go through people, break in later and swooping through them. But yeah, Kick fell down massively. Both racing bulls took 1st and 2nd place. It was a dreadful start for Kick, just all over the place. Where is he? Down in P7 now, so Kick has lost out massively there in P7. Sasha as well has lost out massively due to that double stack. So Miles Mackey's up into P2, Lucas in 1st place, but we know they're both on the hard compound tyres, so they will struggle. I'm not quite sure. Well, it's a bit of a conundrum really. They're stuck in a conundrum. Is Lucas and Miles Mackey's. There is nothing they can do at all, and that's the problem. You don't know when safety cars go to appear. Sometimes it benefits you, sometimes it doesn't. And a chance of a safety car around here, I realistically, it's not that high. And neither are other tracks as well, because there's so much runoff area. it takes a really big crash and a really big mistake to cause safety car nowadays in league racing. But yeah, it's just so unfortunate there for Lucas and Mel's being caught out by that safety car. Same with the people now on the mini compound tyres. They're going to suffer towards the end. And we know that a two-stop strategy is going to be kind of out of the equation as well. It must be said, it's going to be an outlier. That two-stop strategy will not work for those people at all. So they're going to have to, unfortunately, sustain a bit of pain towards the second half of the race. I thought Alex, Torpe, Bassi might go to pit lane to put on a set of hards. Depends if they got it in the disposal to use, of course. Maybe they've gone for the medium strategy or the harder strategy. Remember, you get 2 sets of hards if you go for the hard strategy, and 2 sets of meds for the balance strategy. Safety car should be in very, very shortly. And Olai says he's cut. Yep, you are cut, unfortunately, mate. Not gonna lie to you. You're in a bit of a predicament down there in P5. Yes, you're gonna be quick, but how are you gonna manage those tyres? Are they gonna survive towards the end? And if they do survive, they're gonna drop off the cliff massively. So the guys behind will jump you, unfortunately, later on in the race if you don't decide to do a second stop. So it's gonna be a bit of a difficult phase for you in the race, I dare say. Ola says he's stopping. Hopefully not out of the race. Oh, yeah, stopping sometime. Yeah, a two-stop strategy is confirmed there for Olai in P5. The only hope for Olai is another safety car later on in the Grand Prix, like lap 18, lap 19, may bring him back in contention in the race. So that's his only hope so far. But those guys have been screwed over monumentally by the safety car. No risk for push, says Olai in the Kickstarter. What's going on there? 2 drivers swapping places, and Alex is dropping down the order for some reason. Some people getting tangled up during the safety car restart, which is not a good sign whatsoever. When is Lucas decides going to pull the trigger? As well as Ally has been screwed over by the safety car, I dare say Lucas and Mels has as well. So we'll see what happens during this second half of the race. It should be Ryan who has the best seat in the house. Milan Langer is on the podium too for good measure in P4, so he is a really good spot to try and claim a podium in this race. But we'll see what's happening there. Ferrari's on the grass. It's like a 2024 situation when Lance Stroll hit the back of Daniel Ricciardo going down towards turn 14. A massive cause tune effect, but hopefully nothing happens of that sort. We're just waiting for Lucas to pull the trigger, and then we could get racing once again to kickstart the second half of the race. And look at that mighty restart there for Lucas. He's caught Miles Backus napping as we head towards the final corner. We go to kickstart this race in JSR. And Kickstarter goes off the track there, which is Olai P5, but hopefully gets away with it as we head down towards turn 1 we go. It's very important now for Ryan and Milan and the other guys to get past these two, because their slow strategy, they're going to be much slower in comparison towards the guys behind on new hardcore powered tyres. These two, essentially an obstacle in the way. They have to dispatch very quickly so the guys behind don't get tangled up behind these guys and focus on the race. These two are weaving for some reason. Maybe getting extra temperature in their tyres as we head down towards turn 6. I thought these guys would be overtaken immediately, but not to be on this occasion. But I dare say an overtake is incoming on this lap at turn 14. Miles Backus is going to be under such immense pressure from Ryan and Milan Langer. Right behind too, that's Olai. Under pressure, I think, from just Sasha in P6 there. You would have thought that Olai would put the pressure on the guys ahead, considering he's on the mini-cup powered tyres, considering these tyres are much better and in shape. But here comes Ryan around the outside of Miles Backus. It's going to get busy down there as we see the side by side between Miles and look at Milan looking to take advantage of the guys ahead too. Milan up the inside there, gets ahead of Miles Backus. A very clean move indeed. The Kickstarter is next, take on Miles Backus. But here we go, they're ducking and diving in the solution we go. No DRS on this lap. Lucas looking to go to the left hand side. Here comes Milan, here comes Ryan as we head down towards turn 14 we go. What's going to happen in the braking zone as we go down? It's 3 abreast in towards the braking zone we go. Milan just backs out of it. Ryan takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Milan side by side with Lucas, who gets a much better launch around the outside. Not good news for Milan at all. He wants to get past Lucas as quick as he can to focus on Ryan. Surely now down it towards turn 1, it should be a big chance for Lucas and Milan to have a scrap as we see Lucas take the lead of the race. What's happened there? But Ryan goes back down the inside, does the under and over and switch back. Nice move performed by the Racing Bull driver. Milan is desperate and poised to get past the Mercedes driver as we see a battle behind us. We go in towards turn 3 and 4 we go. So Sasha gets ahead of Olai, which is not good news for the Kickstarter. It's Milan Langer, daring to go down the inside. In towards turn 6, he's thinking about it, not to be on this occasion. Here comes Sasha around the outside of Milan Langer. Milan gets a poor exit. Sasha around the outside of Milan. Does he get ahead? Yes, he does. He gets himself up into P2. Not yet. Milan goes around the outside. He gets pushed off the track by Lucas. And Levy joins on the circuit in P3. Olai goes up into P3. Now it's such mayhem, such drama in this race. Unbelievable scenes and chaos. Milan recovers in P4, but has he got damage? I'm not quite sure. Here comes Kick alongside him as we head down towards the big stone. Here comes Olai up the inside of Sasha. We go. Kicks up the inside of Milan. We've got a 2x2 battle going on here between these guys. All feisty, all fighting for the lead of the Grand Prix. This is unbelievable. It's all kicking off down here. DRS has been enabled. We go. Sasha goes up into first place. Lucas, however, still in first place. Unbelievable. What's happened to Ryan? He's gone. Ryan is out of the race. He's done in P14. Here comes Olai up the inside of Lucas, who finally been disposed. But what's happened to Ryan? Unbelievable. I didn't even catch it. Wow, there was so much going on in this race. I thought something was wrong with the order when I first glanced at it. I thought Lucas dropped down the order. I thought Ryan was Lucas. But I'm not quite sure what happened to Ryan. He's down at P14. Oh my goodness me. What such mayhem in this race has caused confusion. And now down the inside goes the Ferrari driver, barging his way into towards the Williams of Mark. That's Robert versus Mark we go. It's classic JSR stuff. And look at that. Through goes Alex. Takes both of them up into P. Here he goes. Massive wheel spin. Oh, it's a crash. Almost a crash. As we see Milan Langer down the inside of Lucas. He's still behind him. Can't get past him just yet, but he has to. He has to. It's very important now. And he does. Finally. It took a long time. 2 or 3 laps longer than expected to get past the Mercedes of Lucas as Ryan gets a 3-second time penalty in this race. What a turnaround in this Grand Prix. What a twist, what a change in events in this race. And it's all kicked off with due to the safety car restart with every single driver desperate and poised and eager to get past the other driver, which was Lucas. Is still there in P4. Miles Makis, however, is still in P6. But you think he let his teammate go because his teammate is on younger tyres, so that's pretty much a straightforward team order, I dare say. No messing about whatsoever with those 2 Red Bulls as Ryan gets past Torpe. On board with Kick behind in the Mercedes. DRS is enabled for the McLaren driver. Lucas is not giving up. And Olai goes for the lead of the Grand Prix. Here comes Kick side by side with Lucas. He finally gets past him. Down the inside he goes. As Fireblaze surely gets past his teammate. No. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Goes up into P6 ahead of his teammate, which is a very important move for him. In his battle now, up inside the top 6, behind Lucas on old hardcore powered tyres. And he's barely surviving on his hardcore powered tyres, dropping backwards like a stone. Fireblaze has been released. He goes up into P5. Do you know what? Lucas made that easy for Fireblaze. He gave other people a hard time, and now Fireblaze has been relinquished up into P5 very easily indeed. Whilst Miles Makis is under all sorts of pressure behind in front of the Ferrari driver. Look at this. The Ferrari gets a deflected out of turn 4. Line up on the move on Miles Makis as we head down towards turn 6. We go around the outside. Brakes later. Then the Red Bull driver holds it around the outside, but they're making contact. But Miles Makis just stays ahead for the time being. Neither driver willing to give up the position. This has been such an action-packed, incredible, intense race indeed. All the adjectives to describe this race. And every single part of this race has been... Oh, Olai has been overtaken. What's happened? He's dropped down the order. He has dropped down the order. He has spun. Oh, my goodness me. Olai, who has been caught out by the strategy under the safety car and put in a bit of a predicament under the safety car too, having to do that 2-stroke strategy on those mini compound tyres and now falling down the order. His day goes from bad to worse, unfortunately. The hardcore power runners initially at the start of the Grand Prix have all suffered and paid the consequence, and Robert is still behind Miles Makis. Can't get past him for the time being. Here he is then. Around the outside again, going down into towards turn 14 in slight contact with the front wing and left front tyre. And Robert goes off the track there. He's struggling to find where the track is as Miles Makis stays in P6 for the time being. Now this is great. This is what I love as well. So much drama, so much mayhem to commentate and focus on. Usually it's always the boring races. These guys stuck in the DRS shed, of course, struggling to get past. But we're seeing some action here. Overtakes and Stefan now line up on the move on Ryan, who goes back up into P8, surprisingly. I'm not quite sure how he got back up into P8, but he's there in the top 10. But I dare say winning is definitely an impossibility right now. Here comes Stefan. No, that's Ryan alongside Robert as we head down towards turn 6. Both on the brakes, both make contact, both drift out wide there. As we see Robert stay ahead for the time being. I dare say Adhesion ahead of Ambition, or Ambition ahead of Adhesion, sorry. Or is it all the way around? I can't remember. Adhesion ahead of Ambition. There we go, I think that's the one. I think it's Ambition ahead of Adhesion. I think it is. Anyway, that's what the saying is right now. But Fireblaze, who is behind in the DRS trade. So it's Sasha versus Milan versus Kick for the win. Sasha has won a race last season. I don't think Milan did. Kick, I don't think he did either in P3. But we don't really see Kick a lot of JSR. I've raced against with JSR. Well, that could be DSR. I've raced with these guys a lot in different leagues. It's kind of confusing. But Kick is struggling to stay within the clutches of Milan Langer. Here comes Ryan, his teammate, in the racing ball. Here we are, going down towards turn 40 to get spicy. Robert on the inside of Miles Mack. He's eating. Oh, his contact! He wipes out the Mercedes driver indeed. And he made contact, I think, with Ryan, who was there too, on the scene. But Robert, it's up into P5 now. Made contact again. Lucas has just shoved into the back of Robert. I think all these guys are starting to lose their heads now. Lucas has got front wing damage. That's what happens, you know. That's what happens when you get mixed up with people with older tyres. And Alex somehow is up into P6, but Ryan's alongside him going towards turn number 2. And it's a recurring theme with these Dutchies losing their heads when something happens. When a bit of a controversy or drama happens or adversity happens, stuff like this happens. And Ryan outbrakes the Ferrari going in towards turn 6, but doesn't complete the move just yet on the curb. And the Ferrari there pushing him to the left hand side. But now he's going up the inside. The Ferrari just leaves enough space on the outside too. But Ryan stays behind in P7 for the time being then. Fireblaze is now in the DRS range finally of Kick, Milan and Sasha. So this should be an interesting battle. But he's still struggling to get in the DRS range as the Ferrari goes off the track in the foreground there, which is Alex in P6 on the medium compound tyres. He is in the wrong car, of course. He wasn't supposed to be in the Ferrari. But made up major ground. He's on the medium compound tyres, of course, at this stage. But in this part of the Grand Prix, he will struggle for tyre grip. We see Ryan all at the back of the Ferrari. He should be easy pickings with the DRS wide open. Surely on this lap, he gets the Ferrari with that DRS wide open on the back straight. And he just passes by like it's nothing with the straight line speed he has. And we can see in the background there, All-Eye fighting with the Ferrari. Ryan once again getting himself all sorts of kerfuffle and drama. He gets shuffled back into P8 there. His teammates in the pit lane to get off those medium compound tyres, so a short-lived stint on those hard medium compound tyres. Olai has retired and a safety car has been deployed, something he needed desperately, but unfortunately he's the one that caused it, and he's crashed in the wall where Lewis Hamilton ditched in the gravel in 2007. So Olai is out of the race and a second safety car has been deployed. I've never seen so much drama around here at the Chinese Grand Prix. It doesn't really involve so much drama, but in this race it does. Do you know what? Every single race in JSR always involves drama. There's never a dull race around here, never a dull race. It's always fireworks and controversy and people blaming each other, etc. But the people with the calmest heads and consistent pace are the ones who end up at the front of the field, and it's exactly what's happened to Sasha. But I need to find out what happened to Ryan, because I didn't catch what happened to him at all. So my mistake. I was too fixated and too bothered about what happened with Milan Langer. Let me just see what's happened to Ryan before I continue. Ryan just disappeared off the track, literally at on lap 14. Go back to lap 14. and Ryan was in the lead. Then he just disappears off the track and falls all the way down to last place. I'm not quite sure how he did it. I'll try to look for any clues or indication. It just drops backwards. It's very, very odd and strange and bizarre, in my opinion. What happened to Ryan there? I thought like Milan Langer took him out when he went to the track himself, but he didn't. He was far gone before turn 6. So people pitting onto a new set of the hard compound tyres, and it clearly demonstrates that the strategy chosen is the harder strategy, which means that they get 2 sets of the hard compound tyres in their disposal to use for moments like these. They don't really get used, but for safety cars involved, that's when the hard compound tyres, or mediums, depending on what they choose, gets applied to the car, because usually it's a straightforward one stop with a better time management involved in the middle and the beginning. But when safety cars come out, they interrupt that and completely galvanise the race and completely change the trajectory too of a race. But there's 8 laps left to go in the Grand Prix, and so far it has been Sasha who has been leading after his teammate spun out at turn 6. It's been him who has been leading the Grand Prix, and Milan Langer is right behind too. Last 2 seasons ago he was the champion of JSR, but now he had a bad season as well in the Racing Bull. Didn't really quite get up to grips in the Racing Bull last season. He was my teammate as well. We did get along, as you expect, because of course we're commentators, but I did let him down a few times last season with my bad pace and bad luck as well. But luckily he has got a better teammate than me. In the Haas, tried to see when Milan Langer's last race, a bit of a tongue twister there, but Milan Langer's last race, he got a podium back at the Monaco Grand Prix. So that was his last podium, of course. He crashed in Brazil last week. He won at his last win was at the sprint race at the Spanish Grand Prix. Then I won the feature race. I'm looking for his last proper official win, other than sprint races. I don't think he won a race last season, other than that sprint race. Then the feature race, I won. Sorry about that if you heard me cough. I wasn't supposed to do that, but his last win was season 10 at the Belgian Grand Prix. It was when Fireblaze finished in P2 and Sasha finished in P3, and he won at the Monaco Grand Prix 2 at season 10. That was during his championship year, it must be said. He won back in Australia as well, and back in Bahrain. So season 10 is when he had his last win. Sasha has won as well previously in the last season, the season before. So I don't think Kick has won a race either in JSR this season. Of course, it's a lot of history to go through in the space of a couple of minutes. But Stefan, who's magically up there in P4, been very quiet, been under the radar, has Stefan, it must be said, just creeping there in P4, and could sense a potential podium, maybe a win. Yeah, his best result come at P2 back at the Monaco Grand Prix last season as well. Another quick driver on his day is Stefan. Sasha Hood's last win was back at the Italian Grand Prix with Fireblaze finished in P2. We know that Sasha is no stranger to winning whatsoever. Multiple podiums and wins Sasha does have. Ryan is back up into P6, but he does have that 3-second tablet over his shoulder, so chance of him winning is slim and out of the equation and out the window, unfortunately for him. So there's no possibility for two for two. Of course, that mistake that at turn 6 cost him dearly and all sorts of time. Here we go then for the second time in a row. The safety car is about to peel into the pit lane, and we can get racing once again in these last closing laps here in Shanghai at the Chinese Grand Prix. Who is going to win this chaotic event? It could be anyone inside the top 5. Fireblaze, Stefan, Kick, and Milan, or Sasha. I can guarantee you that a Dutch person will win it, but in terms of which Dutch person could it be? I don't think Alex is Dutch, but majority of people inside the top 10 are Dutch or Belgium. JSR Rubber is Belgium. I know there's a Brit in the lobby and a Swedishman and a Finishman too. The Finishman of Torpay. as we round up, though. Yeah, he is Finnish. Sorry, I thought he was Swedish. I got confused between him and somebody else. I can't remember what his name is. But here we go now towards the final corner now to round off lap 21. Bicycle's after session he retired a long time ago. Milan still in the track, brother. As we now head on to lap 22 out of 28, going down the main straight we go. Kick is right behind Milan, but not able to go for a move on this occasion. Has to wait for the time being, as Kick has been so desperate. Great comeback drive from Kick as well, because remember, he spun earlier on in this race too. He followed back into P3, now has another chance of winning this race, despite all of his drama and bad luck. And look at this, the Red Bull of Fireblaze is right behind Stefan. Will he go for a move down towards turn 6? They're both late on the brakes we go. And Stefan, look at Ryan trying to go around the outside, but can't make it stick. And the Norwegian Dutchman stays behind in 6th place there as well. Optimistic move, but a bit late to the brakes, and has to stay behind the Red Bull driver, trying to do everything he can in his power to overtake the Red Bull driver. Got some incredible pace in that racing bull, does Ryan. But it's a massive snap there as well for good measure out of the double left-hander at turn 10. What can Alex do in the Ferrari on those medium compound tyres? Another set of those mediums have been attached to that Ferrari car, and I wonder how many places he can climb up to. He's right behind Ryan as we head down towards turn 13, on towards the back straight. No DRS, of course, enabled on this lap, so all the drivers have to wait for the DRS to be activated on the next lap, and that's when we'll see some moves being made later on in the race. There is 6 laps left to go in this race. Ryan swapping there, ducking and diving and faking, but I don't think Fireblaze is phased by that. This is great pace, however, from Ryan in P6. And Fireblaze would dearly love to keep the Red Bull driver behind, because he knows that Ryan does have a 3-second penalty, and Fireblaze has the pace to contend with the guys ahead. So he's looking to try and keep these guys behind as long as he can. But Ryan's got some monumental pace, as here he is up the inside. No! Contact! Be careful, Ryan. Just a bit audacious, I dare say. A bit ruthless. But luckily he didn't wipe out Fireblaze in the process, and now Alex on his tail as we head down towards turn 6, looking to go down the inside. A taste of his own medicine, looking to go up the inside. He makes contact with the Red Bull, who goes off the track, the Racing Bull, sorry, and Alex up into P6. So I bet Fireblaze is happy with that move, although he's got the medium runner behind him of Alex, who's a P6. Great drive, by the way, from Alex, although we've seen a bit of a scuffle in the last few laps of the race. There is 5 laps left to go as Alex struggles to keep it on the track there. It continue to pursue Fireblaze in P5, but we're running out of laps in this dramatic race indeed. 5 laps left to go in the race. Is Milan Langer poised to win his first race since season 10, excluding the feature race last season in Spain. But here we go side by side now between the Ferrari and the Red Bull. Fireblaze versus Alex. This is Ryan. Oh, it's contact on the straight! And they almost went off the track to get it off. They wipe out Fireblaze. Fireblaze has been wiped out. Innocent victim, innocent bystander. What a shame there for Fireblaze. The man always has bad luck. The man his own business has been wiped out due to a stupid incident, and the VSC has been deployed, and looks like Alex was involved. Oh my goodness me. When will the drama ever end? How can a commentator stay professional and composed when all this BS is going on behind the scenes? Another short neutralization in this race, but luckily it's only a VSC, no safety car deployed, which is good news because we don't want another safety car. We just want to get this race done and dusted. It should have been done about 40 minutes ago, but like, we've had safety car recently, we had safety cars, 2 of them, 2 VSCs, a lobby restart and a delayed start as well for good measure. So we've had a lot of trouble in this Chinese Grand Prix. I'm surprised more people haven't retired in this race. Pride and ego gets in the way of all these drivers. But hopefully this race ends very, very soon. And P1 Dark has got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. Down in P14 is the Brit in this race. But the top 4 all in contention. Let's go on board with the top 4 to see what happens. Look at this. Kick is right behind Milan. putting the Dutchman under all sorts of pressure. He's desperate to get ahead of Milan so he can have the best spot to win the race. But the DRS is wide open as all the batteries being burned down this back straight. Here comes Milan to take the lead of the Grand Prix. His kick looks to go for a dive in the inside. No, he can't. He might go around the outside. Into towards 14 we go. Does he get a good exit? He doesn't. Not able to get alongside. Mark does get past Robert, who goes up into P5. Robert's been shuffled backwards as they continue to fight down towards the final corner. Not the best spot to do so, of course, because it gives you barely any good momentum out the final corner. Here comes Kick, side by side. Here comes Sasha down the inside of Milan as Kick is trying to go all the way around the outside. Has good grip, good momentum, good speed. As Milan gets a bit of a tapped by Sasha there as we head down towards 3 and 4, still wheel to wheel, but Kick muscles his way up into P2. Great move there for Kick. Now hunting down Milan Langer for first place. Which one of these guys is going to win? But here comes Sasha back around the outside in towards turn 6 in the breaker zone. Can he get a good exit? He's alongside him now. Massive wheel spin there for Kick. Banging wheels too for good measure. Sasha gets back ahead. Oh, Kick. Unbelievable scenes indeed. The battling continues all the way towards the end of this race as Stefan is looking in the background waiting for the right moment to take any sort of glory he can from these guys squabbling. But Sasha gets a bit of a pole exit. Here comes Kick. He just lets him go. Wow. It's quite surprised about that one indeed, considering you don't want to be third in the DRS train, but he decides to let him go. Maybe he thought that he'd lose DRS towards Milan. I'm not quite sure what happened to the race aboard there, but he lost a lot of progress indeed and now been shuffled into P3. Will the Dutchman regret it later, but now he's the battery. He's going to try and force a move on Kick. Milan's under massive pressure from Kick behind as well. Here he is. Here they come. Here they come down towards turn 14. The side by side in the breaker zone we go. Milan a bit late in the brakes there too. As Sasha looking to the under and over both of them. Milan gets a decent exit as he stays in the lead of the Grand Prix. This is a great tussle between the top three. But Sasha gets a decent exit out of the final corner as Kick opens and closes DRS. Barely in the battery between these guys as Milan Langer is under pressure from Kick. Kick is up the inside. Here comes Sasha up the inside too with Milan Langer as we're side by side in towards turn 1 and turn 2. These guys constantly trading places as there's contact between Sasha and Kick in towards turn 2. This is such a great battle between all our championship protagonists and all these contenders looking to go for the win in this insanely eventful Chinese Grand Prix. Well, this has been a better Chinese Grand Prix than anticipated, but Milan has lost 2 places. These guys are constantly changing places. They're trying to find themselves in the best spots towards the end of the race, have the best chances and possibilities of winning. But they need to sort themselves out first in these last couple of laps in this race as Kick has a massive wobble in turn 9 and turn 10 there, really struggling and desperate for traction and grip at the exit of the slow speed corners. He has Sasha now on the back of him too. Remember, Kick has suffered a lot in this race and somehow he's still in first place, or in first place right now. Look at Sasha there, the car retaliating to turn in, but now has the DRS and the battery to use on the back of the McLaren driver. The DRS is going to be open for the racing bull and he's going to use it to good perfection to possibly go for an overtake again. As we head down towards the hairpin, he backs off, being very wise for the time being. He knows that if he overtakes now, he's in the worst spot later in the race to be overtaken on the straight. So he's playing a very smart game now in P2, making sure he keeps Milan behind as well for good measure. The problem is though, he needs to save the battery, otherwise he might get beaten or defeated by Kick in the end. As we head down towards turn 1 we go. But it's going to be an intense battle all the way to the end of this race, with the top 3 all in sight of each other, or try to plan, articulate the moves later on in this race. This is the penultimate lap of the race. All the fireworks, all the chaos will happen towards the last lap of the race, and we'll see every single driver getting their elbows out in defense and attack mode. But indeed, the top 6 all in DRS range of each other. Mark and Robert has joined the party too in P5 and P6, but there's nothing they can do because they're stuck there in that DRS train. Sasha has saved up a sufficient amount of DRS. Seem, it's nice to see you here. You've missed all the important moments in this race. This has been truly a spectacular, dramatic race indeed. Het had goed met jou. Dankjewel, jongen. But look at this, Sasha now. Let's see, what will he decide to do on this lap? Is it stay behind Kick and use the DRS on the last lap? Is it go for it right now and be vulnerable on the last lap? This is the decider right now. The DRS wide open for the racing bull driver. Is he going to go for a move? No, he's being very smart. But here comes Milan. Milan down the inside into towards turn 14. We go. The side by side in the braking zone, but Sasha gets a better exit. And Sasha there almost forced into the lead of the Grand Prix because Milan wants to take second place away to be in the best spot to win. Massive oversteer at the final corner. Kick is truly vulnerable now. But is Kick going to play DRS games? Is Kick going to let Sasha through somehow, which he can't do for the time being then? Kick might be vulnerable. We've seen that the past 2 times Sasha is able to get a good release out of turn 13 to go up the inside towards 14. Why is Sasha driving like his AI? His AI looks like he's driving. No? That was a bit weird. Is he driving the AI? The way he's turning, I'm not quite sure. But as we head down in towards turn 6 right now, hopefully Sasha has regained control of the car because that looked a bit weird towards turn 3 and turn 4. Yes, massive wheel spin there. But Kick looked like he's pulling away. So whatever happened to Sasha down at turn 3 and turn 4 has cost him dearly. It looked like his AI was driving for a brief moment. Kick has got the gap to 8/10 of a second. I really hope it's not it's anticlimactic towards the end because this has been a build-up towards the last lap of the Grand Prix. Kick, however, is 7/10, 8/10 ahead. This could be enough for Kick to win this race. If he can, what a monumental drive, what a combat drive for the McLaren driver. Sasha, however, bottled turn 3 and turn 4 massively. It's all about the exit. It's all about traction. It's all about grip through here. Who can get the best possible exit out of these corners? As now the battery, the DRS will be used in attack and defense mode. Here we go with the DRS wide open. Can Sasha get close enough? Can Kick defend? As we head down towards the back straight, Kick goes to the right side. Can Sasha force an overtake? Down the inside he goes, in towards turn 40, towards the hairpin. He slides his way in towards the corner. Side by side is a battle for traction at the exit of turn 14. But Kick gets a better exit. He comes around the final corner, and right now, as Kick makes his way towards the line, he wins the Chinese Grand Prix. Barely though. Under all sorts of massive intense pressure towards the end, Kick wins. Sasha P2, Milan Langer P3 ahead of Stefan, Rubber P5 ahead of Mark, Miles Mackis in 7th place ahead of Fireblaze, as Potato finishes P9 ahead of Torpe, Uncle Palmer P11 ahead of Alex, Ryan at P13 and PR1 Dark 14th ahead of Lucas. But what a dramatic, intense race that was. Imagine if Sasha and Kick make contact in towards turn 14. That would have been an opening door there for Milan to go through and say, thank you very much, Dutchies. I will take that place. But wow, what a race indeed. That was so incredible and so intense. Too close for comfort. So much drama, so much chaos. But in the end, it was a clean battle. It was a hard but fought battle between all those guys. No pushes, no shoving. And that's what we love to see. Hard but fair racing and respect and sportsmanship and racing etiquette was there to the very end between all the top 3. Oh, Kick's recovery drive though, immaculate. Coming back from what? I know he took pole, but he dropped down the order, didn't he? Twice, in fact. He dropped down the order twice, and he looked like he was in no position to win the Grand Prix at all. Maybe got time for an interview. I'm going to interview Kick only because I've got a lot of time. Robert, shout out to P20 to P5. Great job there from the Belgium driver. A mega job there to recover beautifully and only be 2.56 behind the leader. If only to a point of qualifying. Fireblaze, what a shame for him. He must be so frustrated to what happened down there at turn 14 when he got wiped out by the oncoming cars. This would be a memorable race here in JSR. Milan Langer is here. He finished in P3, so might as well start with him. And let's see if Sasha and AMS Kick does join indeed. But Milan Langer, congratulations. I know the victory slipped in your slides in the end. You got overtaken and got stuck in P3. But considering where you started as well, and considering how the season went for you at the start in Brazil, did you think the podium was on the cards at all here in China?
No, not at all. I didn't expect to be that high up the order. I qualified P7 to be a little bit surprised to be that high up, and then I surprisingly had good pace as well in the early stint and had some moments, but I didn't really expect to be fighting for a podium, let alone a win. But the pace was there somehow, and I'm happy with the podium. I mean, it could have been a win, but the Kick and Sasha, they're both incredibly quick as well, and they got lucky with the safety car, so I'll take P3.
What was your plan as well towards the end? Because you were in a good spot in P2, trying to keep Sasha behind at bay, whilst keeping Kick in front, and vice versa. It was just a constant change of positions, ready, trying to set yourselves up for the last lap of the Grand Prix, to put yourself in the best position. What was the plan? Just try and keep Sasha behind as long as you could, to keep Kick in first place?
Yeah, ideally you just want to be in second place going on to the final lap. Unfortunately, I didn't quite succeed at that. It's really hard to predict who was going to overtake when you're all so close together. So in the end, I ended up in P3, and Kick and Sasha just went a little bit too quick for me at the end. I tried to get it in between, or at least lead onto the penultimate lap, but they eventually got past in turn 1, and then I just ran out of, I wouldn't say ran out of talent, but I wasn't quick enough to catch them in the end.
Well, you kept it nice and clean because it was certainly a chaotic race. DNF in Brazil, P3 here in China. What are you expecting for the next race next week? I'm not quite sure what track it is because it doesn't say, but what are you expecting?
Well, it's going to be an F2 race again, and it went quite well for me last season at Spain for you as well. So I'm looking forward to that. I really enjoyed driving the F2 cars, and at Austria this as well. So I'm looking forward to it because not many people practice F2, so I might have a little bit of an advantage there. But hopefully I can be in the mix again to at least get another podium.
Doug, pleasure to have you in the podium interviews, and it's very rare to see me interviewing you because we're always commentating, so it was quite weird to interview you, not gonna lie.
Yeah, but thank you, mate.
You're welcome. Moving on to P2, which is Sasha. Sasha, mate, you're pretty much in the fight for the whole race. You saw JSR Ryan drop down the order after lap 14, turn 6, and pretty much you were in the fight for the whole race as well. And it looked like at one point you weren't going to get it, but you got a disadvantage during the second safety car, I think it was, when you had to double stop behind your teammate and dropped a few places. But what a mega recovery drive, mate! And what a send at turn 14. I know it didn't pay dividends, but the main important thing is that you kept it in control. You didn't barge into Kick, and you finished in P2, which is still a good result in the end. Talk us through your race, mate.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you. And I mean, we had to go for it, of course, in the last turn. Luckily, it was Kick, who is an excellent race driver in that part of racing. But yeah, I'm just happy, to be in P2. I didn't expect to be in the front on this track because I didn't practice in anything. But just race pace with Ryan in the lead was good. And it's just a shame that he went down the order at the moment. But just happy with P2. Great strat, and next race is also F2, so I hope it doesn't rain, because then this Milan guy will again drop 30 seconds on the whole field. And congrats to Kick, of course. I mean, excellent race from him.
And at the start of the race, did you think that you and your team had it control because you were first and second place the whole time? So were you just working together?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's how this game works, sadly. I mean, just slipstream doesn't have an effect if you also have a slipstream. It doesn't mean the gap. But we were mostly in control. I mean, Kick had the more pace, but he just couldn't pass because of the DRS that we shared. So safety cars didn't go quite well in that experience.
What is your expectations this season, Sasha? Because we know you were a quick driver on your good days as well, good strategies, and you had a few podiums last season, including a win. What's your expectations? Do you think you can try and fight for a championship as well this season?
Yeah, it's a bit early to say that, I think. We'll just see how the season goes on.
No worries, but thank you very much, Sasha. Pleasure to talk to you, and good luck for the next race in
thank you.
JSR. Geen probleem. Moving on to the race winner, which is Kick. What a comeback drive. Talk us through by the way, whilst you two are here, Sasha and Kick, what did happen at the start of the race, Kick?
It was my fault. I had a really bad start at the beginning of the race. I was P10 and then I become P3 in 4 corners. I don't know what happened, but yeah, really a shame.
You lost quite a lot of places in the first part of the race and also the second part of the race as well, and somehow you still managed to carve your way through the field and take the victory as well. You must have been so nervous in the last lap of the race because Sasha was on your tail pretty much in the last few laps of the race when he and Milan started their fight. And talk us through your nerves on the last lap.
Yeah, I was hoping Milan can get past Good, or they can battle each other, but yeah, Sasha was too fast. So I didn't really expect Stefan to be there in the last corner, but luckily everything went well. So yeah, good race.
That's good for you, Kik, as well. Your first race here at JSR. I don't think you participated back in Brazil, did you, last week? But here at JSR, you made a big statement. You took pole with a blistering lap time and you finished in first place. So, what's your expectations this season now, judging by your pace?
Now next race I'm not home, so I can't race, and yeah, we will see the rest of the season. But yeah, F2 is not my thing also, so yeah. Milan can win that one. Yeah.
That's right.
Please don't.
Well, thank you very much, Kiki D. Congratulations on your win. Massive congratulations. It was a great race all the way to the end, and you sustained the pressure really well. Despite your problems in the first and second stint, you managed to carve your way back to the field and put some astonishing overtakes and defenses as well, and withstand the pressure from Sasha right behind when he attempted to make a move down the inside in towards turn 14. So well done, mate.
Yeah, I was happy that my Wi-Fi don't disconnect this race, so I was very lucky. Yeah, Ryan also not, but yeah.
I'm glad you did, mate. But we move on to the F2 race at the Austrian Grand Prix. Join us back for the sprint and the feature race. It should be a thrilling one. The last time we had one, it was me who won the race. But I don't think I'll win the race next time because obviously I'm commentating it. But we'll see what happens at the Austrian Grand Prix. We'll see you all later. Goodbye for now. And thank you to the top three for joining me in the podium interviews for the first time here in JSR.